This new TradingView indicator finds the most important news that you can trade, whether you're trading stocks, forex or crypto. In today's video, I will show you guys exactly how to find and open up the indicator in TradingView. And I will also show you guys how you can change the settings to make the indicator even better. I hope that sounds good, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the very first thing we want to do is to open up a clean chart in TradingView. Right now, as I'm speaking, I'm looking at the S&P 500 on a daily time frame. Now we're ready to open up the indicator, so we go up here to the Indicators tab. And what you want to search for here is Toad, and then Greece, or how you say it. You want to search for this right here. And as you guys can see, we have many indicators appearing here, but the indicator we want to choose here is the one called Live Economic Calendar. So you want to open up this one right here. And as you guys can see, now the indicators has appeared here on the chart. And as you guys can see, this indicator is super useful. We first of all have the dates right here. We also have the time, and then we have the kind of news that is coming in the near future. What you can also see is that we have a tab called Impact, and this is basically an estimation of how significant the upcoming news will be for the price. But before we continue to take a look at this indicator and how to use it, we need to take a look at the settings. So now I want to head up here to the settings tab for the indicator. And the first setting we have to understand is the expected impact. And this was what I just recently talked about. As you can see here, we have different colors right here. The red color will show the most significant news. The orange one will show the sort of medium significant news. And the yellow one will show news with a low expected impact. You can also see that we have a sort of white dot right here, and this one will show bank holidays. So you may of course wonder, which of these is even worth having on the chart? Well, in my opinion, you definitely want to have the red one checked because this is the most important news. For me personally, I will definitely uncheck the yellow one because these news will usually have a low impact on the market. So this right here is a possible sort of setting you can use. What you also can do, if you want to, is to uncheck the white one as well. And some traders will prefer to only look at the most important news. If you only want to look at the most important news, you want to make sure that you only have the red dot checked. As for the next setting, that is called currencies, here you can either choose automatic or you can choose what currencies you are interested. What I highly recommend here is to actually use the automatic setting, because as you can see, if you use automatic, the indicator will automatically choose the news based on what chart you're currently looking at. So I'm gonna make sure to choose automatic here, but if you want to, you can definitely choose a specific currency. As for the news on chart, you can either choose here for the chart history, you can either choose to show news today, this week, or manual right here. I recommend to keep this one at this week, so you get the news for the week here. You can also decide whether you want to choose the labels or not. When you have this one checked, you will basically get a little signal of what kind of news there is. So I prefer to have this one checked. And what you also can see is that we have sort of lines here to the right. As you can see, if we uncheck this one, the lines should disappear. This one is a bit optional, but I prefer to have the lines because when you show the lines, you will basically show, on what days we do expect to have high impact news. So definitely I'm gonna keep this one checked. And as for the news table, you can decide to show the table, which we have here down to the right. This one will take up some space on the chart here, but I definitely think this one is worth to have shown here. But what you also can do is that you can choose here, where you want to have the table. Do you want to have it on the right, left, or center? Personally, I usually have it, in the bottom here to the right. But now guys, we're done with the settings and we're ready to go down and press OK. So now guys, let's take a look at how do we actually trade using this indicator. And I want to take a look at this example right here. We are still on the S&P 500 on a daily time frame, and as you can see right here, if you take a close look at the most recent candles, you can see that on this candle right here, we just had 3 significant news events. On this day, we had 3 different CPI numbers coming in. We had the CPI, year to year, CPI month to month, and we had the core CPI month to month. And as you might know, CPI, or in other words, the inflation, the US inflation, is such a huge event that it impacts, pretty much every single market. It impacts the stock market, it impacts Forex and crypto. So this right here was a massive news event. But as you guys know, here on the channel, we usually talk about technical analysis rather than news. So what I still do and what I recommend is that you actually combine technical analysis with news. Of course, some traders are trading only purely based on news, and that is definitely okay. But to improve the win rate of trades, I still think it's a good idea to use technical analysis. And here, with this day right here, we actually had a few important technical signs happening. The first thing we can see, if we look a bit to the left here, is that on this day, we broke a sort of short-term pattern. This right here is pretty much what we call a megaphone pattern, meaning that we had a downtrend, but that the trend was sort of getting, the range of the trend was sort of getting wider and wider. And as you can see with this candle right here, we actually broke out from this structure. So that right there is one sign. Another thing we can notice here is that we also broke the previous high. You can see that we had a high right here, right? So just a few days ago, we broke that previous high. And what we can also notice is that this previous high was also acting as support right here. So basically support, broke support, the support flipped to become resistance, right? We saw some selling pressure coming in here at the resistance, but then we broke above. So for multiple reasons, this is actually a decent trade. We had, very bullish news during that day, and we also broke some important technical market structure. And if we play out this trade, we can actually see that this was the beginning of a, very strong move here towards the upside. So guys, if you want to improve your news-based trades, I highly suggest that all of you guys learn more about support and resistance. So if you have the time today, I highly recommend all of you to watch this video next.